Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Coach V. So happy, excited to be here with all of you. And look who's here, Super Coach Ivon Martin. Hello, Coach.
Hey, Coach, and hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode. Like Coach V said, this is Ask Coach V, and it's where we do exactly what the title says. We ask Coach V. So I go out and I find questions, scenarios, challenges, whatever agents are going through, and I bring those here to a top master coach, real estate agent that has been there and done that. And we see, what does she have to say about it? What would she do? So you guys are in for a treat. We got some great questions today. And Coach, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready. I'm ready. So, guys, please pay attention because one concept can help you to save time, energy, and make you money. So, let's go, Coach.
All
Give it
right,
up.
let's do it. So I'm going to throw up the first question here and we'll get to it. So here we go. Okay, so this one I found in a Facebook group for real estate agents. And I have the question that the person posted, and I included a comment that someone gave just to kind of give us some stuff to talk about because there's some good ideas. Okay, so this agent said, I conducted an open house for another listing agent, and the prospective buyers at the open house say they will go directly with the listing agent. If the deal goes through with either of them, am I entitled to any commission? Now, someone commented, said they probably think they can get a discount. They can discount the house offer from the buyer agent commission if they go through the listing agent. Yeah, something to think about for sure, right? Right now, we have kind of the direct question of the agent. And then it also leads me to some questions that I'm going to ask you, Coach. So here, the short version of this question is, okay, I hosted an open house for this other agent and the buyers came in, liked the house. They want to work with the listing agent to represent them, not me. I'm not going to represent the buyer. Do I get anything out of this? And so what is it, Coach? Are they entitled to anything there?
Oh, I love the question. So my question back is, what was your agreement, agent, buyer's agent, during the open house with the listing agent? You see, guys, please pay attention. You are a business person, an entrepreneur. Whatever you do, you have to have clear, set expectation with the other party. So if you want to do an open house with someone, maybe you want the open house so bad, you say to the listing agent, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, let me do your open house for you. I know you have a team, but let me do open house for you. And by the way, anybody that comes in, I'll give you 50%. So right away you have an agreement. Now, if you're just doing an open house, waiting for leads, and you never agreed anything in clear and specific with the listing agent, guess what? They can come and go to you. And if you fail to get the buyer's agreement, to build rapport, to build connection, and get the value of these people, they can go back and write a offer with the listing agent. You're not entitled to anything because it's
Exactly.
nothing in writing. Makes sense, Coach Yvonne?
Exactly. The short answer, sorry, buyer's agent from Facebook, but if you're not representing the buyer, then the buyer's not going to give you any piece of that commission, right? So coach, that kind of leads me to a follow-up question for you. Actually a couple, but I'll start with one. What is like, if you're as someone who's trying to grow your business, you're trying to get more leads, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go do open houses for other agents. I think that's great. That's smart. Good initiative, going after it. What agreement should they set up and how should they pitch that to that listing agent?
Well, I love that. So first of all, open house is such a great resource. It made me rich in so many ways. I got so many listings from open house, and I sold an average of 4 to 5 homes per year from open house during, selling 135 homes per year. Many came from open house. And if you knew, what a great way to build your database and meet people and do a presentation right there, right? So have an agreement. If this person is offering you to do the open house, if the listing agent is offering you because she has more than she can handle, and maybe she doesn't have a team yet, oh, you say, hey, so whatever comes from the open house and the buyer side is mine, right? I'll handle the buyer, whatever comes, any lead from the open house is mine. You have the listing side. So she's offering you. Now, in case you don't have open house, because I work in the Silicon Valley, and there's so many agents wanted to do open house, and sometimes there's two agents and one open house, and sometimes we have to really ask a lot to get the open house. And I told them, I said, look, I know you have choices, you can give to anyone. I tell you what, if you give to me your open house, I'll make it happen. I do well. And anybody that comes in, I'll give you half of the commission. What a great incentive, right? So
That's
again,
pretty good, right? So, coach, so okay, so if the agent is asking you because the agent is like, "Hey, I need help and I need to cover my open house," then I think pretty safe to say, "Great, I'll do it. The buyers are mine." But if you're
exactly.
trying to go out and get business and you say, "Hey, as a favor to help me," you're not going to say that, right? But if that's the scenario, then you're
Yeah.
going to say, "Hey, I'll split 50 on the buyer's side." Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good standard.
Depend on demand and offer, right? Now, going back to that comment over there, coach, it's very typical. Most of the consumers, if they don't have clarity how it works, they want to, what's in it for me? What you're going to get from this, Oh, maybe, the perceived idea is if I work with a listing agent, I'm going to get a discount
Exactly, right?
because
I'm going to
that
get a
person's getting the,
discount. I'm going to get a kickback. I'm going to get, it's just better because they're the listing
yeah.
agent. They're thinking all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so what a great opportunity to rise up. All of you guys, I know some of you guys here are brand new or, semi-new or veteran agents. Remember, every opportunity, every challenge is a time to rise up. That is an objection. Well, if I write an offer, I'm going to write an offer for the leasing agent because then I can have a chance to get a deal or to get a discount. That's an objection. It's a concern or a question in the mind of the consumer. What a great time
Yeah,
to
so
answer
so
that.
coach, I think what you just said. If some smart agents are watching, hopefully some light bulbs are going off in their head, and they're realizing that the real question is not if I hosted the open house, didn't go with me, am I entitled to anything? That's a no, right? The real question is, what do I say? How do I handle it? What do I do when I'm at the open house and the buyer tells me I want to work with the listing agent? That's the
Yeah.
real question, right?
That's the real question. That's exactly when you say, Yvonne, I hear what you say. Can I tell you something really concerning? Many people might think this way, but can I tell you how this strategy can really hurt you at the end? Because, and then you go here specifically, I'm not going to role play here with you guys right now. This is what I teach you guys on VIP and one-on-ones. This is when you really go deep now to go stack the pain or the doubts of them working with the listing agent because the listing agent is representing the seller. That he has a fiduciary duty, she has a fiduciary duty to protect the seller, to fight for the seller, get the highest money, highest amount of money for the seller. So if you know the way we handle the objections, the strategies that we give to you guys, and the framework, you can go right there and have this opportunity to rise and bring so much value and build so much trust in the eye of this buyer here, this consumer here, that's gonna go, oh, right? Like you use the takeaway, oh, please, even if you don't use me, don't hire someone just because it's the seller's agent. What happens if you end up buying a home that is a lemon home? Are you aware? Have you ever heard the expression what a lemon home? Now you tell some horror story. So again, what a great opportunity to rise up and build some value and trust in the eye of the buyer and get the appointment to have a buyer's presentation to not only show this home or represent this home, but others around. Isn't
Yeah,
it true, coach?
exactly. And I'll try to say this the nicest way possible because I don't want to be mean to the agent asking the question. But ultimately, this was just a failure of them building value with the buyer, right? Of showing that they could help them and
A
showing
lack of
why
skills.
exactly and showing why they should represent them. Because, coach, isn't it true that even if they had had an agreement, even if this agent had said, I'm going to do your open house, if I bring the buyer, I'll do 50% with you because you're going to allow me to do your open house. Even if they had set expectations and made an agreement, if the agent failed to get the buyer to work with them, then the seller still is not going to be paying this agent because this agent is not representing the buyer. The seller is, right? Because if I go to you and say, I'm going to go to your open house and if I bring the buyer, we'll split it 50-50, but then the buyer goes, I don't want to work with them.
Yeah.
What
Now,
are they what are they going to split?
yes, it's true. Now, hopefully, the listing agent is nice enough and feel sorry for them or just want to be nice to them so he can keep them as a open house host. He'll still give them the commission because of the agreement made before. But
Right. But they're not entitled to
they're
it,
not
right? Which is
obligated.
the question.
Yes. They're
Yeah,
not entitled, they're not obligated because there was one situation. So,
exactly.
look, rejection is feedback. If someone is saying, thank you very much, but I'm going to talk to Yvonne Martin, that's a rejection. Now, the question is not be the key is not be upset or angry. The question is, why this situation is happening? What happened here? Why did you decide to go someone else? How was my communication? How was my presentation? Did I build rapport? Did I build trust? Did I build value? Did he see the value in me? So look inside and take responsibility that it's feedback. The consumer is telling you, you failed to build trust with me. You failed to show the benefits of working with you. So I decided to go someplace else. So instead of being sad or pissed off, we blame someone else, be pissed off with yourself and say, that's never going to happen again. I'm going to learn how to handle, overcome an objection and show up with so much power, strength, and swagger and confidence that no one's going to go someplace else. Guys, you got to learn how to become irreplaceable,
So,
unshakable.
Coach, before we move on to the next question, because we got to move on here.
I get excited with this, Coach. Can
We
you tell?
absolutely we've answered this, right? So the short answer is no. If she's not representing the buyer, she's not entitled to anything. And the long answer is make sure you have an agreement in place with the person, with the listing agent, of what you guys are setting to expecting to share or not share. And point number two is handle this objection, show your value so you do represent the buyer. But
Exactly.
that
And
being
set the
said,
appointment.
that being said, now that we're in this scenario, would you suggest that she still talks to the listing agent and says, hey, they really didn't want to work with me because they really wanted to work with the seller agent. Now, since, I brought them, can I get a
Yeah.
percentage or can I get
25%.
something?
Yeah, of course, guys, always try. They know you already have. Always go for the yes as many times possible until it's really the door is shut. Be relentless. Be relentless. Now, I want to say this to you guys. Listen, there's a lot of hearsay me sometimes. Even when you talk to someone, people don't have clear expectations. So when you ask, you go to the listing agent and you say, hey, if this happened, can we do this? And then we're gonna do this. Follow up on email or text and take a picture. Hey, Vanda, as we agreed, I'm doing the follow up for you to do this weekend. Follow up, no, excuse me. I'm doing the open house for you this weekend on 123 Main Street. As we agreed, if anybody that comes in and write an offer, we go 50-50. All the leads are yours, or all the leads are mine
Yeah, whatever you
in
agreed to.
writing. And I'm looking forward to it. And just follow up in writing with the emails to really solidify the agreement, because it's not going
Perfect.
to be a contract, but you need to solidify in writing, because then later he might say, oh, I forgot about that. No, that's not what I meant. Or the buyer, or she can say, it's not what I meant. It's my open house. Everything is mine. No, no, no. Put in clear, specific on paper so there's no resentment, no disagreement, and no wrong expectation. That's when
Exactly.
let's happen.
So Coach, I think we answered the heck out of that question. Let's go on
Yes.
to our next one. So this one is also a great one. I'm going to go
I
ahead and
love this,
share.
Coach Ivon. I love doing this with you.
I'm going to go ahead and share this one here. So this one, okay. Again, I saw this on a social media group. I included the question and a couple comments because I think they're interesting. So here's the question. What happens with the buyer agent commission if the buyer can't cover it and the listing agent refuses to contribute? And then a couple comments. Find a different house. No agent's going to work for free. Deal doesn't close until someone comes up with the money. That someone being the seller. All right. So here we have a question, a scenario that, I'm sure if you haven't encountered it before, you might encounter it, where you are the buyer's agent representing the buyer. They have a home that they like and they want to write an offer on, but that home, the seller isn't offering any buyer side compensation. And the buyer tells you that they can't afford or they don't want to pay your commission. What do you do?
Excellent question. I'm so glad we talk about this. So first of all, in that picture, they say if the seller's agent refuse to contribute, first of all, it's not the listing agent
Right. It's
money
the
to
seller.
contribute. It's the seller. So guys, again, everything we do more than once, we have to have a SOP, standard operating procedure, or protocol, right? So right away, you have to know what you standard when you work with a buyer that doesn't have the commission to pay for you, because the business has changed. We know that now, if you represent the buyer, you gotta have a buyer's agreement where establish specifically a commission, who pays what. You can ask the seller. If the seller doesn't pay, you can ask the buyer. So make sure that you have the clear expectation set, and before you show the house. So in
Exactly.
this case, if the seller said, first of all, if you're going to work with a buyer, you're going to do a buyer's presentation, right? You're not going to show any home without a buyer presentation. And if you do the awesome, specific, effective buyer presentation, proven buyer presentation that I teach, where we go over the needs and wants, the budget, financing, state of the market, the benefits of working with me and my team, our strategy to write an offer for you, how to prepare to buy. If you go over and prepare and show the buyer that buyer presentation that is so amazing that made me rich in many ways and my clients right now, you will know everything. If the buyer has the money, you can afford the house, pre-qualify, understand, you build the value, and then you can handle the objection. Because yeah, if your buyer can afford the house, can afford the commission, he cannot buy a home, especially if he's looking at homes as seller who is not providing any incentive.
Exactly. It's like cost of doing business, right? If I want to buy a car but I can't afford the tax on the car, then I can't afford that car,
He
right?
can afford the
And
car.
that's what you have to help the buyer understand, but you can't just tell them that. You can't just say, "Hey buyer, I know you love this house and that number is in your budget, but you got to pay me. I'm important, and if you don't pay me, you can't have the house you want,"
Yeah.
right? It's not like that, but it's about starting from the beginning and educating them on how it works, the process, and really showing what you do for them and why you're worth your fee. Because people are not, obviously you're always going to have some unreasonable people, but people know you don't work for free. And if you can show your value, they're going to understand that that's part of the budget of buying the home. So
Exactly.
in this situation, it sounds like maybe that conversation never happened and the buyer doesn't never understood or expected that there was a chance that they
Yeah.
would have to come out of pocket or they would have to do it. And now the agent is in a situation where they're feeling bad because since they didn't have this conversation before or didn't set it out clearly before, now they have to go tell this buyer they can't have the house that they want.
Yeah, it is very concerning. It's very concerning because that means that the consumer, the buyer that they're working on, never had a real full buyer's presentation, have no idea what's going on, and the agent is just throwing stuff in the dark. Look, it's all about skills, education, preparation. Let me give an example. When you know what to do. My client, one-on-one, Michelle, she also does VIP with us. So she sent me a text, beautiful text, a couple of weeks ago. Coach, I just love what I'm learning with you. This what happened. She said, I did my bias presentation and I did really well. I did everything that you teach us, how to build the value, the trust, the rapport, explain, sell them on our benefits and how work with us. And I got the 3% on my buyer's agreement that I was going to ask the seller. So when I wrote the offer and I asked the 3% for the seller said, I'll pay 2.5%. She said, usually I was going to, normally I would take that. But
Right,
I
just
had
say,
your voice.
okay,
Okay, but I had your voice in my head of my worth and how much I'd put here and how much I work and I'd provide so much service. So even though the seller was paying only 2.5%, I went back to the buyer and I sold the buyer that, would you cover the other half percent to 3%? And the buyer said, yes, I believe you are worth it. And I did. And I ended up with a 3% commission on the buyer side. She was so
exactly.
happy. She said, I had never done this before until I learned the strategy and tactics, how to handle, overcome the objections. So ask yourself, if you're not educating, preparing, set expectation, selling the value of your expertise, of your competence to your buyer, he doesn't know, she doesn't know. And many times, one thing is they don't have the money. So upgrade your buyers pool. Your group of buyers. Have more buyers that can afford. So how is your market? How is your brand? So you can get people that really not only motivated but can afford the houses, right, Coach?
Exactly. So going back to this question, what do we do if the buyer wants a home that isn't offering buyer side compensation, the seller's not offering buyer side compensation, and the buyer says they can't afford this home plus paying the commission? What do we do? The short answer is in this case,
You shit out
you
luck. No, just kidding.
exactly. But the short answer is you needed to handle this way sooner because now the reality is they can't afford that house. Because if the seller's not paying and the buyer can't pay, they can't afford that house. But this is a case where we need to know, do we have an objection or a condition, right? Are
Exactly.
they saying, "Oh, I can't pay the buyer side commission because it's too expensive," because they don't see the value in it, they don't think it's worth it, or they don't think they're supposed to, or are they actually priced out of their budget on that house, right? So ultimately, what this buyer buyer's agent needs to do is they need to go basically redo a buyer's presentation with their buyer, sell them on the value of working with them and why they deserve their fee and deserve their commission, and reestablish some expectations and find out, can we make this deal work? Can I
Yeah.
try to negotiate with the seller? Can I negotiate more with the buyer? Or do we now continue our home search with new expectations?
Exactly. So this is a great moment for you also to realize that you need to upgrade your level skills, improve your mindset and your strength and confidence. So you need also to be able to sell that commission with the listing agent, so the listing agent can go back to the seller and sell that
Hey, let's put this
3%.
deal together,
Yeah.
right?
Let me give an example how much knowledge and
Really quick,
expertise.
coach.
Go ahead.
Guys, if you're liking this, if this is something you're learning from this, you're getting value from this, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss this. We do more Ask Coach V's, and Coach V also is putting out tons of great content, tons of great videos. So subscribe, like, and share this with someone you care about in this industry that you want to grow. So sorry
Yeah,
for interrupting you, coach. I hope
please.
I didn't make you
No,
lose your
no,
train of
thank
thought.
you. Thank you. Hey, knowledge will make you rich in every way possible. You have to implement, but it's the beginning of wealth. So make sure you keep learning and improve yourself, upgrading your skills. I was going to give an example of how much knowledge is power. So when I decided to buy my vacation home in Lake Tahoe, Coach Yvonne, because many of you guys know, Coach Yvonne is actually my son, the CEO of our company, amazing, brilliant coach. And he knows we bought a home in Incline Village, Lake Tahoe. And we own a house there for about 11 years. It was awesome. They were growing up there, going every month skiing, learning how to ski. Beautiful place in Klein Village, Lake Tahoe. So when I went to buy their house, I didn't have a license in Nevada, right? My license in California. But I specifically, clearly had a, a mission. I said, I'm going to choose an agent that can work with me. I can get my 25% referral, but I want specifically that she knows I want to do the negotiation. Why? Because I knew my level of negotiation, and I know many agents don't have the training, the coaching that I had, and the experience that I had. So I reached out to this lady, beautiful lady in Klein, and I said, darling, I have a real estate license. I'm actually a top producer in my county. I would like to make an offer in this house, and I would love you to represent me as a buyer's agent. I'll pay you. All I want is a 25% referral fee. However, I want to ask one more thing. I want to be part of the negotiation, and I want to instruct you in the negotiation pretty much all the way. Is that okay? She had nothing to lose. She said, fine. So what I was doing is I coached her during the whole negotiation. I coached her how to deal with the listing agent, because I know I'm a top listing agent. I also sold a lot of homes. I knew exactly how it works. I just didn't know the details on Nevada or paperwork, but I knew everything in terms of selling real estate and buying real estate. So I negotiated everything, and that's the power of knowing what to do. Because when the listing agent had issues, deals, I said, just come to me. And I would say, okay, if it says this, you say this. If she does this, you do this. So I was pretty much negotiating the whole deal to my own property as the buyer. So that's the power of knowledge. That's the power of knowing how to handle objection, overcome fear, and be able to present. We got the home. I bought the home. It was beautiful, and furniture included, and we'd be able to negotiate really well. And she was happy. She was happy, and later I gave her more referrals to her. But that's my point. Don't stop learning. Don't stop investing in yourself. Coach, I just have to say, because I see so many times in these groups, be very careful what you read in these groups. There's so many crazy
Oh
shit
yeah, guys, when I'm
happening out
looking
there.
when I'm looking for questions, the stuff I see is out of this world.
Oh, it makes me want to cry. The other day, the person said, oh, I have some money here. Should I hire a coach or should I buy leads? And there were so many crazy, crazy comments. Oh, don't waste your time hiring a coach. You don't need more motivation. Or don't waste time doing this with coach. Just go buy leads. And I'm thinking, here's someone who barely know real estate, doesn't know how to sell, that she's going to buy leads with no idea how to do the lead follow-up, how to do the conversation, the framework with a cold lead. And also having a mentor, having a coach is going to save you time, energy, and
Right.
money.
That's the
So,
person that, 6 months from now is going to say online leads don't work, never buy leads because they bought them without knowing how to convert, right?
yes,
But
yes.
ultimately, coach, we got to wrap it up here.
I know, right?
Some great questions today. So we know if the you're going into a transaction with a buyer, your buyer should already know exactly how that commission is going to work, what you need to get at the end of the day. It should be priced into the budgeting. Make sure you do a full presentation. Make sure you educate them and avoid situations like that. Right, coach?
Exactly, exactly. Look, clarity is a mother of mastery and save you time and energy. So I'll finish with this. Just remember, nothing's more important than your level of skills, expertise, energy, and confidence. So keep working yourself. I congratulate you for showing up here and listening to us because we are always here, 1,001% committed to provide you the best strategy, tactics, and help you to elevate your mindset, your skills, so you can convert and have the life that you want. So, Coach Yvonne, thank you for your brilliance.
All right. Thank you, coach. Bye,
I
everyone. We'll see
appreciate
you next
you.
time.
Bye, everyone. See you next time and keep on sharing your magic. Bye bye.